This is the appointed time. We have a quorum. So let's begin. Item 1. Information papers issued since the meeting on the 8th of July 2025. Members, please note the two papers, CB bracket 21507/2025 bracket 01, which is an information paper relating to policies and measures on bazaars provided by the administration, as well as CB bracket 21622/2025 bracket 01, which is a paper relating to safety of pet food products provided by the administration. Now, in relation to policies and measures on bazaars as well as safety of pet food products, members may wish to refer to items 13 and 16 of the list of outstanding items for discussion. Now, having regard to the information provided by the administration, if members are of the view that there is no need to have a further discussion of these items at the panel, then these items will be deleted from the above list. And then items for discussion at the next meeting. We will discuss two items. Please refer to CB bracket 21769/2025 bracket 01 and also 02, which are list of items, outstanding items for discussion and the list of follow-up actions. Let me invite the administration to come in first. And please also note that the next meeting is scheduled the 6th of October, a new time slot between 4:30 and 6:30. There are two items proposed. The first one is leveraging technology to enhance environmental hygiene, which is item 1 on the list, and also new fish culture zones, item 2. The administration has proposed to discuss 3 more items when we discuss leveraging technology to enhance environmental hygiene, including measures to improve environmental hygiene in the community, the government's work on tackling hygiene black spots, rodent control, and cityscape improvement, as well as implementation and effectiveness of the fixed penalty public cleanliness and obstruction ordinance. If there are no other views, we will discuss these items at the October meeting, right? So we now move on to item 3, which is a briefing by the Secretary for Environment and Ecology on the Chief Executive's 2025 policy address. Let me welcome the Secretary to our meeting. And also Ms. Irene Yang, Permanent Secretary, Ms. Diane Wong, Undersecretary, Ms. Ivy Law, Deputy Secretary, and also Mr. Anthony Lee, Deputy Secretary, Mr. Mickey Lai, Director of Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation, Mr. Donald Ng, Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene, as well as Dr. Christine Wong, Controller of Center for Food Safety. Please take the floor, Secretary. Good morning, Chair, members. I'm sure members have read the paper submitted by the administration, so I'll just very briefly go through the policy initiatives of the EEB in the Chief Executive's Policy Address 2025. On promoting a pet-friendly environment, we have many households in Hong Kong with pets generating an enormous consumption market. The FEHD will allow owners to bring cats and dogs or dogs in food premises, and there will also be clear signage. The consultation will take place very soon, and in the middle of 2026, applications for the first round will be approved, and by then there will be more choices for the public as well as the sector so as to bring new business opportunities to the catering industry. We'll also enhance the quarantine arrangements for imported dogs and cats so as to enhance the service quality of the trade, on enhancing veterinary services industry. We have explored with the board on various enhancement measures, including extending the period of publication of disciplinary orders on the VSB's website. Announcement will be made later today. There are also measures to support the sector in the policy address. The license fees will be waived for another year for hawkers, catering industry, fisheries and agriculture industry, as well as pubs. About 60,000 licensees will benefit from the initiative. There will also be a joint vetting mechanism starting from the fourth quarter of this year, so as to streamline the vetting procedures for the application of outside seating areas. For straightforward cases, the vetting process should be completed in a month. The government will also actively support food from Hong Kong to be exported to the mainland. Aside, the island-wide BCP will be reserved to promote food production in this regard, including processing, wholesaling, and trading, so as to promote the concept of food in Hong Kong and as well as tourism. We will also promote diversified development of the economy. We will publish the blueprint for the sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries. In the middle of next year, we will also set up a new brand for the industry to generate value, and we'll also enhance the procedures for the inspection of water seepage in buildings and request the owners to show the responsibility in this regard so as to resolve disputes relating to seepage as quickly as possible. All right, thank you. I'll give members 4 minutes each. Now, if the questions can't all be answered, please provide supplementary answers in writing. I need to uphold the speaking time limit rule very strictly today. I'll give each member 4 minutes. Questions and answer, please. Mr. Yao Wing-kit, Stephen Ho, Stanley Lee, Benson Look, Chen Yut-ming, Judy Chan, Chen Chun-ying, Lam En Kwong, Chu Kok-kang, Chen Hao-yen, Tang Ka-piu, and Eric Yim, and myself, 13 members in total. Let's start with Mr. Kissen-yang. Thank you, Chairman. A word of appreciation for this year's policy address. Well, there are a number of highlights, such as promoting a pet-friendly environment and improving the food and environmental hygiene. Especially we have a lot of pet owners in Hong Kong. I believe that this will benefit pet owners. We can also promote the pet economy. Still, I think we need to take forward a number of initiatives such as certification of pet food products. I think further discussion is needed. This is a very good opportunity for us to build our brand, as the Secretary mentioned before. We have a very good food inspection program with over 99% of food safety guaranteed. So there is a demand for both food for human consumption and food for pets. So my first suggestion is to set up a system for certification of pet food products. The other highlight is about water seepage problems. I see a major breakthrough this year. In the past, it would take as long as 3 years, or at least close to 3 years, to trace or solve the problem of water seepage. Usually, we will conduct a test and to determine the moisture content, and only when it's about 35% would the department formally take up the case. I want to know whether under the enhanced measure there is no need to conduct the tracing test and the moisture content test for the upper floor tenant. And I'm very concerned about the procedure. It's very difficult to tackle water seepage in buildings, especially since I'm involved in cases in Whampoa Garden. I understand that sometimes the tenants may involve lawyers, doctors, and this matter might be dragged on for over a decade. I'd like the Secretary to elaborate on the measure. I'll give you some more time. I'd like to interject. In fact, recently, water seepage happened in my home as well. The matter was dragged on for a year because the upstairs tenant was not cooperative. And in fact, the next point is about pet food products. I asked that question a decade ago. I had a friend who wanted to export locally produced pet food products to other places, but licensing became a major obstacle for him. Secretary, I'll try to answer these questions on pet food products. Indeed, I think we need to work on this area, and that is why the AFCD will conduct a study and make reference to overseas practices. Our goal is to formulate guidelines by the end of next year. On water seepage, we'll promote dispute resolution by mediation. I think this is a good way out for the parties involved. And the FEHD and the Department of Justice also rolled out a community mediation program in July this year. Property management personnel would receive free training on mediation skills. And in this regard, I hope that we will build our capacity in handling water seepage through mediation. Unless the problem is very complex, we should be able to resolve water seepage disputes through mediation. And we also have a joint office with the Buildings Department. We'll adopt a new methodology to resolve water seepage. Based on our experience, for confirmed cases, almost 100% of these cases involved water seepage coming from the upstairs unit. So we will revamp the investigation method by using infrared so as to verify the source of water seepage and the exact location, because the technologies required to solve the problem may be very different. So after it's verified, we will issue a notice to the upstairs tenants about water seepage to encourage them to carry out investigation and repair work on their own. Now, if water seepage persists, the joint office will start the second and third stages of investigation together, and that's after the notification that has been issued. The difference is that if we are involved in carrying out the investigation, we will be able to recover costs from the upstairs tenant in the future. So this will be a great incentive for the upstairs owners to conduct repair, because if we are required to carry out the works, we will recover costs from the upstairs owner. So this is one way to encourage the owner of the upstairs unit to carry out repair as quickly as possible. And we'll also encourage them to conduct investigation and repair on their own without having to wait for the government department's involvement. We will take up this role to expedite the handling of water seepage problems. We'll also enhance our training for property management staff so as to expedite the handling of water seepage. Next, Deputy Chair. Thank you, Chairman. I thank the government for adopting innovative policies in this year's policy address. About pet economy, I understand that the government will allow owners to bring dogs into the food premises. Now, about the fisheries and agricultural industry, because of the northern metropolis, some pig farms may be reprovisioned. But in terms of land resumption, because of the varying time schedules, EGAs will be granted to affected pig farm owners at different stages, and this might affect the prospective investors I hope that loans will be provided, because otherwise the investments will be deterred, and this may affect the progress of provisioning pig farms. The next point is about pet economy, about allowing dogs into food premises. I understand there is a demand, but at the same time, we need to be careful. We cannot just rush into it, because, as I understand, the government's proposal is to grant licenses to interested food premises operators, and for the details, you need to work them out on your own. But I want to remind the government that food and environmental hygiene is still very important, and you need to consider, for example, whether dog hair will be found in food or mixed with cutleries. The other point is about staff safety. If, say, it's a hot pot shop, or if the shop space is too small, then will you consider granting the license? Will you impose a cap? You are asking owners to shoulder responsibilities, but on actual implementation, you may not have sufficient staff to conduct inspection.
Well, my next question is about pet food. Regarding the research and development of pet food, we fail to solve the structural issue right now. It's about the trade description ordinance. The practice in Hong Kong is different from that in the U.S. In the U.S., they have FDA. In Hong Kong, should it be handled by the CNED, Customs and Excise Department? We need to seize upon the opportunities brought about by the pet economy. I'd like to ask about the development foundation on the roadmap of having a pet food brand in Hong Kong. We are not aiming at trading. We need to do something in relation to certification. Well, Secretary, I'd like to talk about the pet economy. We need to consider the size of dogs. Well, I guess you don't have sufficient time to answer the member's question. The member spent 3.5 minutes on his question. Well, how can the Secretary answer your question in 30 seconds, even if you're just asking about the pet economy? Secretary, thank you. I believe Mr. Ho knows we have a matching scheme. We help with the tendering exercise, and we can explore the direction forward. Regarding allowing dogs to enter premises, food safety, environmental hygiene, these are at the top of our mind. These won't be compromised just because we allow dogs to enter food premises. As for hot pot restaurants or for food processing areas, pets shouldn't be allowed to enter these areas. Say for kitchens, hot pot area, we shouldn't allow dogs to enter these areas. Basically, it is the responsibility of the pet owner to control the dog. The basic responsibility still rests with the owner. Whether in public places or in other places, there is still this responsibility. And we will be actively liaising with the trade parties in order to hammer out further details. When we have announcements to make, we will announce them in due course. Well, rest assured, When it comes to issuing permits, the FEHD will send staff to visit the relevant premises before permits are granted to the premises. Mr. Stanley Lee. Thank you, Chairman. Food safety, environmental hygiene. The policy address has made significant changes despite the current fiscal deficit. I can see some micro policies in this regard. Just now, members talk about the pet economy, and the Secretary said that they would liaise with the trade and they would tell us more details afterwards. I can see that the government has the resolve to promote the pet economy. Some friends of mine are pet owners as well. They said that the medical fees of pets are very expensive, and I understand this may be under the purview of another department or bureau as well. I'd like to ask the Secretary if there is any plan to help pet owners to pay the medical expenses of their pets. This will ease their financial burden. It is actually quite expensive to take dogs to vets. In relation to promoting the food industry, yesterday I met with the airport authority, the CNED, as well as the relevant mainland units. When it comes to exporting Hong Kong food to mainland China, I understand that we are building the Hong Kong food brand. There is keen competition. We do have some competitors. Will we discuss with the relevant mainland units? We're going to build our own Hong Kong food brand. Is it possible for the mainland to import the food developed under the Hong Kong food brand? I'd also like to ask about water seepage in buildings. When it comes to dripping air conditioners, I'm glad to see that there is strengthened enforcement measure. There is an increase of about 34% in relation to the handling of dripping air conditioners. Will you further promote these measures in order to further boost the effectiveness of these measures? Secretary. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, member, for your questions. Regarding water seepage buildings, we definitely continue to adopt new technologies in order to enhance efficiency. We want to handle water seepage incidents with greater efficiency, and we are going to adopt mediation in order to improve efficiency. We'd also like to make owners of the upper units bear the responsibility and handle the situation more expeditiously. This will be a more effective approach when it comes to handling water seepage incidents in buildings. That is the way forward. Regarding medical expenses for pets, at present, we require vets to clearly state the costs. On the one hand, the number of vets in Hong Kong is on the rise at quite a fast pace. In 2015 to late August this year, the number of vets increased from 823 to a total of 1,426, an increase of 70%. With more market competition, I believe the costs in the market will be driven down. We will also strengthen the management of vets. Vets will have to list the fees more clearly. We will also be monitoring the situation to guard against any abuse, any overcharging of medical items. Regarding food, in addition to building a food brand, we will work with the mainland and the trade. We want to diversify the options in the market. In the long run, we want to build a Hong Kong food brand, and we also want to grow bigger the local food industry. Thank you. Next member, Mr. Benson Lok. Thank you, Chairman. Follow up on two fronts. First of all, I thank the administration for allowing dogs to enter premises when the premises make the relevant applications. I'd like to know whether this involves legislative amendment to Cap 132. We do need to separate the area in which food is processed and the areas where dogs can enter. Dogs should also be separated from the containers or the utensils used by patrons of restaurants. That is to ensure environmental hygiene in restaurants. I understand the administration has been reviewing legislation, and I also believe that you have listened to quite a lot of views. There are worries in the industry that when a restaurant has to make an application to allow dogs to enter their food premises, significant costs will be involved in order to comply with the licensing requirements. Are there any studies in this regard? You have been conducting a study for over a year. Can you give us any update? I'd also like to ask about recreational fishing. I'd like to ask about the feasibility of allowing dual uses of Class 3 fishing vessels. The AFCD and the Marine Department are exploring the feasibility of this. I understand there are measures in this regard. In the first half of next year, there will be some pilot arrangements to allow the dual uses of Class 3 fishing vessels. What is the latest progress? I'd like to ask the Director of Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation to tell you more about dual uses of Class 3 fishing vessels regarding allowing dogs to enter food premises. Restaurants may not be equipped with very special facilities. It's all about the target patrons of restaurants. Are they pet owners? Are they patrons who need to take their pets to restaurants? From the perspective of monitoring food hygiene or food safety, for teppanyaki hot pot restaurants and restaurants, it really depends on the mode of business or operation of these restaurants. They may not have to make mega investments into their restaurants if they need to comply with the relevant licensing requirements. The application fee is $140 when they need to make the relevant application. When it comes to operational details, we will talk to the trade before we confirm the details. What about legislative amendment to Cap 132? Well, we are still in dialogue with the DOJ to identify any need to amend Cap 132. If we only need to amend subsidiary legislation, it will take less time. It won't affect our implementation timetable. Next member. Well, I'd like to ask Director of the AFCD to respond first. Thank you. Regarding dual uses of Class 3 fishing vessels, we have been talking to the trade for some time. We think there is significant progress. There are details such as insurance and so on. We will be piloting the scheme using a fishing vessel of about 10 meters or so. Of course, I understand we need tourism products in addition to fishing vessels. We have talked to social enterprises and fishermen organizations. We want to test out tourism products when they become ready. We also want to have a continuous development fund to support this project. At the earliest, we want to see fishing vessels that are ready next year. They can provide guided tours, for example. Thank you.
Next, Ms. Chen Yuming. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make 2 points. First, on promoting the development of the food industry in paragraph 7 of the paper. In principle, I support development of the food industry. I also support the Food from Hong Kong initiative. In terms of location of this food industry park, I think we need to think again, because we have 206 hectares of land near Hung Yuen BCP, which have been given priority in development. So it's close to the BCP. It's also close to the Eco Corridor. And there is also the university town nearby. Every day we have about 80,000 footfall at the BCP. So the land near the BCP is quite valuable. Shouldn't we focus on boundary economy, university town, or should we build a food industrial park here? Because for Maxims, this group has a mega base of manufacturing in Jiangmen. Land is invaluable in Hong Kong. Should we reserve the site for food industrial park or otherwise? I think a further discussion is needed. About this industrial park for food processing, and there is a concern about this location. I hope the Secretary can give me a written reply about the development of the industry and why there is a need to build a park. My other question is on paragraph 21 of the paper, which is about development of public markets. With changes in the economy, public markets are now bearing the brunt. Take the North District as an example. Many people now travel to Shenzhen for grocery shopping. And with changes in the consumption pattern, many fresh provision stalls in the public markets are closed on weekends because of fewer patrons. There is a stall which has been converted into a collection point for products ordered across the boundary. So I think we need to be flexible in revising our strategy. For example, in relation to public markets in NT North and NDAs, the government should gauge the public demand in the long run so that the flexible rate of rent can be offered to optimize the use of space. Secretary, thank you, Ms. Chan, for the questions. I fully appreciate your concerns. With transportation becoming more convenient, we do notice a change in the consumption pattern among the public, and indeed there are people who would buy takeaways and even groceries across the boundary. So on setting aside sites for public markets, we will take a more prudent approach, and only when there is a genuine demand we develop a new market. As for existing ones, for those with low demand, they will be phased out so that the site can be used for other public for other purposes. As for other existing markets, I will introduce enhancement measures to improve the overall environment so as to enhance user experience. About the food industry, that's the other question, our goal is to promote diversified economic development in Hong Kong. Now, on food industry, we do find merits in promoting the brand Food from Hong Kong, especially when it comes to local food products in the mainland market. We see great potential in this regard, and this can help us develop a new economic growth point. This will help us generate jobs for the grassroots as well. So this is something that we will take forward. You also mentioned the overall layout. This will be aligned with the overall development of the Northern Metropolis. Now you asked for more information. We'll definitely go back and follow up on the matter. Very briefly, I'd like to follow up on 2 points. I don't need an answer from the Secretary about public markets. I do see an opportunity. We're not stemming out public markets, but rather we should revamp the public market system, because we have very small fixed pitch stalls in FEHD markets. They are too small to accommodate the current demand and pattern of consumption. You should make reference to the link or to the markets operated by the link. You should avoid having a big mix of stalls for different uses. So you should reconsider the layout of public markets. Ms. Judy Chen, on promoting a pet-friendly environment, I thank the Secretary for the new initiative. We have a lot of pet owners in Hong Kong. Now, my question is this: apart from discussing with the catering industry, would you consider including other sectors in your communication process? Relaxing the requirement and allowing dogs to enter food premises is a major breakthrough. But there are divergent views, like the director said. Like the chair said, you need to have regard to the size of dogs. But it's not just about the size of dogs. Some bigger dogs have modest temperament. And for larger dogs, I understand that the owners could take them to attend some training, and then afterwards, if they pass the test, these dogs could carry a tag on them so that they don't have to be masked when going out. I want to know if the FEHD or the AFCD will do something similar, and that is to enhance the so-called certification system. If it's a dog that is obedient, it should be given a tag regardless of the size, so that it can roam freely in the outdoor environment. But of course, at the same time, there is a conflict with people who are concerned with environmental hygiene. Take the street where I live. I see more and more people walking their dogs, and the street is sometimes soiled. We need to create more pet-friendly premises that come with the necessary facilities, such as wash basins and dog excrement collection points. My next point is about water seepage. I've been involved in these cases for many years at the district level, and I've come across some really extreme cases. The upstairs owner is unwilling to undertake repair work, and as a result, the downstairs affected owner suffered from depression, requiring medication as well. But Chairman, I'm not saying that you have to take medicine. I think this is a very good policy. Apart from property management staff, the training scheme should cover other parties, such as our ward office staff, care teams, etc. Because for owners' corporation, the Home Affairs Department arranges seminars and talks for them to learn more about renovation of buildings. Secretary. On pet-friendly environment, indeed, we also liaise with pet concern groups in order to gauge the thought of pet owners. However, I like to point out the fact that according to opinion polls and surveys, there are divergent views on this matter. There are people who are really afraid of dogs. So this is a real concern. Now, our preliminary approach is to start with something smaller and take things step by step so as to accumulate experience. I think this will be more conducive to creating a pet inclusive environment. If we fully implement the initiative, there may be more conflicts, and this may not be good for this policy in the long term. About water seepage, indeed, there will be a major change in our strategy. We will be encouraging dispute resolution through mediation, and we'll start with property management sector. It is more effective to do it that way. And the property management companies are also responsible to some extent. So we'll start from there. Mr. Lerman Kwong, thank you, Chair. I thank the government for introducing new initiatives in this year's policy address. Now, my first comment is this. The FEHD has experience in granting approval for restaurants to allow dogs or dog owners to bring their dogs to the restaurants. So I have confidence in the FEHD. But I don't think it's simply about allowing dogs in. It's about making money. According to major opinion polls and surveys and global surveys, even at the national level, when it comes to the development of a pet economy, we're talking about several hundred billion renminbi. So we need to grasp the opportunity in food or pet food certification service so that we can groom local brands as well as helping mainland pet food brands go global. So this is a very important role for Hong Kong as we start to promote pet economy and promote a pet-friendly environment in Hong Kong. Secretary, what will be the next step? The other point is about water seepage or water dripping from air cons. Now, like the Secretary just now said, under the community mediation scheme, you will work with the property management sector and that surveys will be conducted. I see that the Secretary has put a smile on his face. That means it must be very effective. Is that right? Will you regularize the scheme? Because for property management personnel, they are required to apply for permits in either category 1 or 2 permits. Now, will this topic be included as part of the continuous professional development courses? Because by leveraging technology, you can expedite the investigation into water seepage or water dripping cases. With the help of property management companies, you can expedite the investigation of the first stage.
Secretary, thank you. I will ask the Director of the FEHD to tell you more about water seepage building handling experience. Director? Well, I will first address the question on the pet economy. We allow dogs to enter premises. Regarding vets, we also identify room for further enhancement. When the industry is managed well, this will foster the development of the pet economy development. Regarding the pet economy, we have pet grooming, pet food, and a wide array of services. There may be different products and services in this regard in the market. We'll continue to identify room for further development, and we will also see what attracts pet owners in order to provide greater assistance to the industry. Regarding pet food brand, the FEHD is preparing some guidelines for certification. We will also identify business opportunities. Thank you. Regarding the director of the FEHD instead, right? To talk about the water seepage incidents. Yes, director of the FEHD, Mr. Donald Ng. When it comes to handling dripping air conditioners and water seepage in buildings, we have already conducted reviews. We have been in touch with property management companies. We are discussing ways to enhance the scheme. Are we going to incorporate mediation into continuing professional development courses? Is it possible to add dripping air conditioner handling to these courses? We have already started discussion. When it comes to PMSA, Property Management Service Authority, we have already asked the authority to issue guidelines. We want to identify room for improvement, and we have done quite a lot of work in this regard. A lot of work is underway as well. Thank you. Next member, Mr. Chu Kwok-kang. Thank you. It is said that in Aberdeen food market, wholesale fish market, some facilities will be added. In 2023, it was said that there would be a revitalization proposal and there would be a feasibility study in 2024. That is what is stated in the 2022 policy address. The studies haven't been completed yet, but this year it's a little bit different. It is said that in the area around the Aberdeen wholesale fish market, F&B retailing and fish processing facilities will be constructed, and the AFCD is exploring the feasibility of doing so. Does it mean we shelved the previous proposals? Does it mean that the idea of jumbo seafood restaurant has already fallen through? It is also said that the food control facilities at Man Kam To would be relocated to Hang Yun Wai. Many members and residents actually objected to it. The policy address doesn't touch upon the slaughterhouse in Changshui. Together with Ms. Chen, we oppose the construction of food processing facilities in Takuling, as Takuling is an important area for development in the Northern Metropolis. It is not an ideal site to develop these industries. What is your take on this, Secretary? Secretary, thank you for your views. Regarding food import and export facilities or food control facilities, to a city, these are essential facilities to a city like Hong Kong. We cannot abandon these facilities if we don't like it. It is a necessary facility in a city like Hong Kong. We need to plan well the distribution of facilities across the Northern Metropolis. Which area is suitable for which type of industry? We do need a good plan. Food control facilities will have to be constructed near the boundary. They cannot be far away from it. When it comes to the overall planning, I believe the planning department has an overall plan. When it comes to the operation and design of the slaughterhouse, we will leverage technologies in order to minimize the impact on the neighboring areas. We understand members of the public do have concerns over this. Regarding the Aberdeen Wholesale Fish Market, the AFCD is exploring the feasibility of constructing new facilities such as F&B and retailing. We want to develop this area into a new spot in order to drive the development of agriculture and fisheries products. This will be a new spot for leisure or entertainment. This will also help attract more tourists. We are still carrying out a feasibility study to test the concept. When we have updates, we will brief members on it. Last time when we visited Japan, the fish market had a lot of new F&B experience and new facilities. They start operation earlier in order to attract more people. We should draw reference from Japan to see how we can promote this idea and the development of this economy. Thank you. Next, Ms. Rebecca Chan. I'm glad to see that the administration has removed barriers to allow dogs to enter food premises by amending the relevant legislation or regulation. The first step is very important, otherwise it will spawn other problems in the future. We need to strike a balance between letting dogs enter food premises or entered restaurants and those who are afraid of dogs. Will you consider piloting this scheme in some areas, say Saikong? There are more outdoor areas in Saikong. Or for Kaita or the mills in Chunwan, there are a lot of pet-friendly measures or facilities in this area. This measure isn't just about letting dogs enter food premises. It's about an overall pet-friendly policy. Take Saikong as an example. You can allow some outdoor areas to allow dogs to enter these areas, but there should also be relevant supporting facilities such as toilets for dogs, and you also need to take into account views of others. You need to strike a balance. Most pet owners respect rules. For example, containers for dogs and those for humans should be separated. But who is going to be responsible for this in the case of there is any fixed penalty? The AFCD and the FEHD have been playing the role of a law enforcement agency. But now they are switching from this role to a commercial operation model. Say the footfall of markets, farms, and so on. Is it all about the change of the governance mindset of the EEB? The departments used to be responsible for law enforcement, but then you now need to promote the development of the local economy. Well, you can see that the secretary has very friendly conversations with me. You can see there is indeed a change in the mindset. Secretary. Thank you. Well, you can say this is a change in the mindset. But actually, what we do is inextricably linked to promoting local economic development. We are the Environment and Ecology Bureau. We need to choose appropriate tools to improve the environment and to develop the relevant industries in Hong Kong. Well, I think we can integrate these aspects. We can take them forward in parallel. If we can do so, this will better benefit society. This will also be better for society. That's why, for the food industry, after I took office, I can see that the FEHD has done a lot on promoting business facilitation. The AFCD doesn't just help fishermen. They also work hard to promote the development of the agriculture and fisheries industry. You can say that we are adopting a better approach to take forward our work regarding the development of the pet economy. Apart from allowing dogs to enter food premises, I understand there need to be supporting facilities. So when it comes to inclusiveness, we have already done a lot. There are more sanitary facilities or places for pet owners to dispose of feces of dogs. There are more sanitary facilities as well. And then we are advancing towards a society where pets and humans coexist. It takes time to change the mindset of people and to change the habit of people. However, the main responsibility is still on pet owners. When pet owners take their pets outside, they do have the responsibility for the acts of their pets. This principle remains, but we will have to have regard to the actual situation whenever any issue arises. Just now, Ms. Chen asked about for OSA, you used Stanley and Sai Kung as pilot areas for OSA. Regarding the pet-friendly environment, will you consider using some areas as pilot areas? Well, I will have to talk to the industry first. Some areas may have more mature conditions for us to implement the pilot scheme. So we will be in touch with the industry and we will announce the details when they become available. At present, there is a huge demand. That's why we'll have to talk to the industry first. Thank you. Next member, Mr. Eric Yim. Thank you. The policy address devotes quite a lot of coverage to the promotion of the development of the agriculture and fisheries industry. In December 2023, the administration issued a blueprint for the sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries. For local mariculture production, the target is to increase the production by 10 times within 15 years, from 1,200 tons to a total of 6,000 tons. For vegetables, within 15 years, from 15,500 tons to a total of 60,000 tons. That's a fourfold increase. Regarding these ambitious targets, I'd like to ask the Secretary about the progress. In some cities in mainland China, they have already promoted the concept of a marine farm. Is it possible for the administration to have a dialogue with the relevant mainland departments or units? Can you draw reference from their experience so that you can further promote this industry in Hong Kong? In relation to vegetables, you have to increase the production by 4 times, and the Northern Metropolis will definitely affect the size of vegetable farms in Hong Kong. What measures does the administration have to achieve this target? At present, do you have any concrete measures when it comes to manpower? There is going to be a shortfall of vegetable farmers in the future. How are you going to deal with this? Regarding prepared food or prepared dishes, this is quite popular in Hong Kong as well. I'd like to ask about high-end prepared dishes. We need to set Greater Bay Area standards when it comes to prepared dishes. How can we promote high-end dishes, say for Chinese New Year dishes? We need to promote Chinese New Year pun choi to the Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yim, for the questions. First, on the development of the fisheries industry, we're exactly heading in the direction of developing marine farms. We've reserved close to 600 hectares of waters in Hong Kong as the mariculture zones or fish culture zones. We've made a start, and we're now proceeding with immersing deep sea cages in these marine farms for mariculture purposes. Near the Tonglong Island, we conducted a pilot, and we've concluded the experience, and we believe that we'll be able to increase local mariculture production by 10 times in 15 years. We are very confident. Now, you mentioned inviting operators in the mainland with experience to come to Hong Kong and participate in the process. Now, in fact, this is something that we've been doing. We welcome investors collaborating with the fisheries industry. We welcome investors to make investment in deep sea cages or deep sea mariculture. So we welcome collaboration with local fishermen. They should not be replaced by consortia. About the agricultural industry, we cannot increase farmland in order to increase local produce. This is not the right way for us. Instead, we will go for modernized and high-tech methods. That means we'll embrace the concept of urban farming or city farming. We will consider making use of areas in urban districts and built-up areas. That means parks and other green space for integrated development with the agricultural industries. We believe that by leveraging on modern technologies, we should be able to increase the local farm produce volume. As for prepared dishes, we think that this presents a very good opportunity for Hong Kong. As I mentioned, we enjoy very good reputation in Hong Kong in terms of food safety and the quality of food. So we have great potential in tapping the mainland market. That is why we propose building in a food industrial park in Hong Kong, and we can start with processing fresh provisions of seafood from the mainland here for export to the mainland and other places. What is needed is to build our brand, and that involves certification. We will set up a certification system for local food products so as to create a unique brand for Hong Kong. And this is part of our plan. I want to supplement. Since the government is promoting halal food and a certification service, a central kitchen or workshop should be set up for certified halal food to be made available in restaurants in Hong Kong. And I believe definitely the government will support us. Now, I echo what other members said. Of course, we should thank the government for all these initiatives in the policy address. About OSA, I fully support the government's initiative. You need to approve applications as quickly as possible. You should set a time frame for responding to applicants. Now, if no reply is received, I'll take it that the government departments have given their support. You can set the time frame as, say, 2 weeks, and if there is no objection, I'll take it that the application has been approved. Well, I came across a case once. The police objected to the OSA application because it was a busy street and that illegal parking was prevalent, and that I double-checked the case. I told the police, why don't you send somebody to book the illegally parked vehicles instead, since it's a double yellow line restricted zone. So very often we need greater support from government departments. Take pet-friendly environment as an example. For OSAs, a special area should be set aside for pets. A more relaxed approach should be taken. It would be good for the catering industry, even if they don't get a permit for dogs to enter the premises. Now, about Hygiene BCP, if nobody takes the lead, then I can come forward. What I'm talking about is that we're not allowed to keep live poultries such as chicken, pigeons, etc. And that the business for our sector is really bleak. Now, on one occasion, I had to visit my cousin in Guangzhou, and I went past Hygiene BCP. We're so close to the country. A special area should be set aside for live poultries to be kept there, to be slaughtered there, and that the general public as well as the catering industry can directly procure live poultries for preparation there. So I hope you will give it a thought as quickly as possible. Of course, those who are involved in poultry husbandry in Hong Kong may not want me to say this, but for the good of the general public, I think that we should set aside this space for quarantine and slaughtering of poultries. you'll be able to control the risks that way. Even for the retail sector, you can opt for live poultry instead of chilled or frozen ones. For the sector, there is no need to dispatch cross-boundary vehicles for buying poultry. So I think a special area can be set aside near Hungary BCP for this purpose, Secretary. Now, the Chairman, you propose a very good idea, but a lot of complexities are involved because the matter involves Hong Kong and the mainland. We need time to look into this option to see whether it's feasible. We'll go back and give it a thought. What about OSA? I fully agree with you, and this is exactly our goal. We believe this will benefit not only pet owners, but also others. If we allow more outside seating accommodation of restaurants, people will have a place to have a drink, and definitely this will enhance the experience of locals and tourists alike. It's a big leap forward. We'll definitely quicken our pace. About a new reply, as you mentioned, in fact, we have set up a joint vetting mechanism. So we'll put our heads together and come up with a decision as quickly as possible. For straightforward cases, our undertaking is that it should be approved in a month. So that's a major change. But I see that in the past 20 years, a lot of applications have failed to come through. Of course, if there is an objection, we should consider that in detail. But in many other cases, I believe that the matter can be resolved by more communication. Now, I think it's easy to resolve problems concerning coordination of government departments, but it will be more difficult to resolve objections coming from the community. I fully appreciate that. I was a member of the liquor licensing board once, and I witnessed the bickering between district councillors and local residents, as well as the operators. I'm just saying that we cannot accommodate every objection at the LLB because we have pubs running their business at night. They'd like to keep their doors and windows open. We need to be reasonable in handling complaints. Is it that if we receive one complaint, the business should be shut down? I think we need to strike a balance. Yes, we need to consider the objections in every case. And objection from the local residential neighborhood will be a major consideration in license approval. But we will strive to use administrative means to relax the rule a bit. Second round, Mr. Benson Look. I'd like to follow up on another matter, and that is to promote leisure farming. Now, just now, the Secretary answered the question on promoting the development of leisure fisheries, and that the government is taking steps to promote fisheries and tourism, such as allowing dual uses of Class 3 fishing vessels. This will help generate income for fishermen. And in the policy address, the government has also undertaken to enhance the Agri-Enjoy scheme. Now, recently, I joined some residents in North District on a tour to some local farms. These are farms with unique characteristics. I believe they can add depth to local tourism. But according to these operators, they'd like to have more publicity so as to attract more businesses. So my question is how the department will help applicants under the Agri-Enjoy scheme on the publicity front so as to help them generate business.
Secretary, thank you. I will ask the Director of Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation to tell you more about our work in this regard. Thank you. Mr. Lai, thank you. Thank you for supporting leisure farming. We do want to promote leisure farming in a more vigorous manner. We have very close liaison with other departments in relation to this. Together with my colleague, I often go to different site visits to explore leisure farming. We do want to widen different promotional channels, both internally and externally. Take my trip to Shenzhen as an example. We went to an expo to promote leisure farming in Hong Kong. We promote the tourism products in this regard. We have a web page on leisure farming. We promote our farms and fish farms on the website. And we're also putting in resources to develop an application. There's a search function. The search function will provide information about leisure farming. Depending on the preferences of members of the public, they will be able to find suitable places to go to explore leisure farming. We also work with different fishermen's organizations. In Taipo Tolo Harbor, we are working with fishermen organizations and the commercial sector to organize trips. For example, we organized some tours in summer holidays just now. Just now, Mr. Benson Look talked about removing red tape. We'll continue to work harder in this regard. We want to enrich the elements of leisure farming. That's exactly how we can make it an appealing tourism product. Any follow-up, Mr. Look? Well, I do have some follow-up. I'm not a big fan of fishing, but when I lived overseas, I went to the lakeside with my children for fishing, and it'd be the best if we can grill the fish after we have finished fishing just by the lake. Is it possible to provide a barbecue pit, for instance, for people to grill, to gut the fish and to grill the fish? Then they can prepare other food as well. When it comes to agriculture, you shouldn't just focus on cooked food. Is it possible to allow a food market selling chicken to sell other types of food as well, say pork, vegetables? We can actually provide a wide array of food in a single market. You need to enrich the variety of food options. I believe members of the public will enjoy a greater variety in fish wraps, for example. I believe this will be a good measure. Director, Chairman, thank you for your opinions. It's good to have a wide array of experience for different people. When it comes to green agricultural products, other food materials could be added. For example, after fishing, as you mentioned, some want to gut the fish and grill the fish and to enjoy the food. Now we have the Fish Enjoy scheme. After fishing, people can prepare their own dishes with their own fisheries products and non-flame cooking. Some stakeholders will enjoy matching services. After fishing, people can go to seafood restaurants, say in Sai Kung and on Lantau, to cook their fish. Some people think this is not fast enough. Some want to enjoy the food through the Fish Enjoy scheme on fish rafts. Well, as long as a non-flame cooking method is used, then it's possible. Mr. Michael Tin, there was a member's motion on public market and I moved an amendment. Say for payment methods, octopus must be an option. It's a type of physical card. Only those with satisfactory performance can continue to renew the tenancy agreement. My agreement was vetoed in the end. Some legislators didn't quite understand my amendment. They are afraid that the operational costs will be driven up if we made it mandatory to provide electronic payments. They are afraid that this won't help public markets. Starting from the 16th of June, well, all clients using Octopus Card payment service can enjoy a waiver of the handling charge. Now there's a waiver of the handling charge. Everything is ready, but you fail to seize upon the opportunities brought about by it. Why don't you simply require the store owners to install Octopus devices? Well, I ask, what about 3 years after the expiry of the waiver? Well, it's possible that three years later, store owners don't have to pay the handling charge either. My feeling is that the policy address attaches a lot of importance to AI, transport department going smart, but when it comes to the FEHD, it's all about cash, no e-payments. When it comes to collecting refuse in in private buildings in Tsim Sha Tsui, a plainclothes officer ticketed someone for illegal dumping of refuse or littering when that person pushed a cart in the streets. If someone simply turns around and that person is ticketed immediately, I'd like to ask the secretary, how should this situation be dealt with? Are there many cases like this? CityLink is doing a better job than the government when it comes to the extension of tenancy. If public markets don't have good business receipts, then no one pay visit to the shopping malls. I hope you will continue with your studies. You didn't say that you are continuing with your studies, but I hope that you would be doing so. Secretary, will I will ask Mr. Donald Ng, Director of Food and Environmental Hygiene, to give you more information. But first of all, regarding e-payment methods in public markets, well, I'd like to focus on the old ones. Well, there are different issues that we will have to handle, so we need to look into the situation for old markets. As for new markets, we do have a plan. Let me see if Mr. Donald Ng has anything to add. Mr. Ng, thank you. When it comes to public markets, we talked to Mr. Michael Tin about this. As for existing contracts, we try our best to promote the adoption of e-payment for store owners. Say for waiver of octopus handling charge, we will make good use of this opportunity to promote the use of e-payment options among store owners. In relation to individual cases, we attach a lot of importance to tickets. We see whether it is reasonable to do so. Does someone just litter, or is someone in the middle of handling refuse? We are actually making arrangements to meet with the relevant individual to make sure that our handling of the situation is just and fair. In the district concerned, there's quite a lot of litter throughout the area. In the course of law enforcement, we need to make sure we ticket those who litter in the streets. When it comes to the renewal of tenancy, it might be difficult to monitor the situation as the business receipts are linked to their tenancy. Even if you have this policy, if there are no customers going to the stall, how are you going to deal with the tenancy of these stalls? We don't just take into account the business receipts of the stall. It is not the sole consideration. We have taken into account many different factors. When it comes to the design, the variety of products, we hope to help existing stall owners to attract more footfall. Well, can I share more, Chairman? Please be quick, Mr. Michael Tin. Well, anyway, all members have already asked questions. Let's wrap up this agenda item. Any other business? There being no other business, meeting adjourned.